Hello and welcome to a new video. So today we're going to do a brush out for a 1940s hairstyle. I didn't really do any big announcements on this channel, but you have noticed that in my recent videos my hair has been much shorter than it has been in previous videos. So I've been trying to learn how to do my hair in a 1940s style, so I thought we could just go through the steps I do together and kind of see where it gets. I've already pre-curled everything last night. I am not an evening person, so I didn't feel like talking to the camera, but I'll talk you through what I've done yesterday. Basically, before I went to bed last night, I wrapped everything up into curlers, and I do have very thick hair, which makes it really difficult to put any nice patterns into my curlers. So the way I usually put them in is I take sections that are kind of going this way down with the curve of my head, and then I take a section and curl that up, and then I go along the side of my hair, and then I take multiple sections like this. And eventually I get to the back, they're all just going downwards. This looks a bit messy as well because I've got lots of different curlers. Most of them are the same size, but just because I got them from different sources, they're different colors. But around the head right here and for my bangs, I'm using the 2.5 centimeter curlers. Everything else is 2 centimeters. And then right down here, I've got 2 on each side that are 1.5 centimeters. So these ones are actually giving like really, really tight curls. And the ones here, I give bigger curls just because these ones are going to be put away. Because for me, it's just, I cannot stand when the hair that is like right here is hanging into my face. And for some reason, I've got a lot of hair right here and it just always keeps falling into my face. So I just have this habit of putting this hair away, which is why I'm just using the big curlers here because it's going to be put into pin curls anyways. This is the beautiful image that Jack wakes up to every morning. So let's just go ahead and take the curlers out. So you can see these are the amount of curlers that I had in my hair when I cut my hair. I thought it would finally be thick again because I have quite thick hair, but when it was like hip length, it just wasn't that thick anymore. So I thought with this kind of haircut, I'd finally have all the volume back. But what I'm realizing is because my hair is so thick, it's actually a problem. I just use so many curlers and just feel like I don't have enough space on my head to put all the curlers in. So this is what the hair looks like straight out of the curlers. And I should also say that yesterday when I curled my hair up, I used a mixture of water and setting lotion to set it all. So my hair was completely dry, but then I sprayed it wet before I curled each of the sections. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my hairspray. I've got 2 different hairsprays, each has its own purpose. This one is for spraying the lengths and the roots and everything that just needs some volume, and this one I use for my bangs. So really I'm just going in and I spray everything quite heavily to make sure that it stays in place. And I also lift the curls up to make sure I get to the roots. And I'm giving this a moment to dry, and I thought I'd use this chance to talk to you guys about my new haircut, because I feel like this was such a big step for me. I've always been so attached to my long hair. I've always felt like my self-worth was really connected to my hair. So I grew it past my hips and I just felt like, you know, I have the longest hair, it's amazing. But I started really not liking it anymore, and I was afraid that when I cut it off, exactly what's happening currently would happen. Because I now look back at my old pictures and I go, but it looked so beautiful, you know, it was like kind of almost like my marking trait, is that what you say? But it's like one of the things that really made me who I am. And now it's gone and I'm just another girl with short hair. But I have to like remember the reasons why I cut it off in the first place. So I thought I'd share them with you because I haven't really talked about cutting off my hair on this channel yet. So first of all, I changed medications throughout the past years. Every time I changed medications, I lost a lot of hair. To the point where I could just go through my hair like this and pull it out. And that was a little bit scary. It was very long hair, so it also looked like a lot of hair that I was losing. And then on top of that, it was actually really unmanageable having hip length hair. So in the pictures and in the videos I show you guys, it all looked beautiful, but realistically that was not what my hair looked like. I just had it in a braid every single day going to work, and that made it quite easy because now that I've got short hair, I have it curly and open, which means I have to actually protect it from the rain, which living in Scotland is a task, let's say. I just had it wrapped up all the time. I never wore it open, and even on the days that I shot content, I would open my hair from my curling method that I used at the time, shoot my content, then we drive to a location, and by the time I got there, I would already have lost most of my curl. Shoot some pictures, and then I'd get home and I'd already be so fed up and my hair would be completely tangled and a whole mess, and I just put it up. So that would be having pretty open hair for about 4 hours a week, and that's max. So I never really wore it open at all, and I could never actually see it. So yeah, looking back at the pictures, it looked pretty, but it didn't look like that in real life. So this is now dry. I can feel it's a little bit stiff and crusty from the hairspray. So I'm just going to go through with my fingers for now and just separate the curls a little bit. Ta-da! So now I go in with my favorite brush and I start brushing it out for a long time. So I posted a little reel some time ago on Instagram, kind of talking about, I think it was the 3rd time I was doing my brush out, and I was just asking for some advice, and people were just like, yeah, you have to brush it way, way longer than you do, because it was all a little bit wild. So now I know I just brush it until my arm hurts, basically. So let's go. So that I've now generally brushed out my hair, I'm going to do something that is going to remind you of the early 2010s. Because I have an emo past, obviously. I feel like most girls in vintage fashion somehow come from being emo. But that means I always need to backcomb my hair. I feel like I just don't like how flat it is up here, and I just need the volume at the root, so I always backcomb it really, really strongly and then just brush it back down. But it makes me feel like a little bit nicer and something to pin into for my pin curls later. So let's get that done. This is the step where I'm always really terrified that the postman will ring the doorbell, because I look absolutely insane halfway through. So let's do this. And I should say, I often hear people saying that they're afraid that backcombing will break their hair and will be bad for their hair. But this is genuinely what I've been doing every single day, and I've managed to grow my hair past my hips. So I don't believe that backcombing is necessarily the devil. I just believe in backcombing, I guess. So as you can tell, I'm just separating out a small section of hair and then go in with the hairspray and then backcomb it like it's 2010 and I'm going to an Escape the Fate concert. I feel like I look a little bit like Pumuckl. Not sure if this is just like a German thing or if you're aware of the character, but if my hair was red, come on. So I've given the hairspray a little bit of time to dry, and now we're just going to go back in and brush it all back down without brushing the backcombing out. And this is where I now want the curls to properly form as well. So I should also say, with my 1940s hairstyles, I like them a little bit more unruly than maybe the average fashion plate from the time. So I think when I looked for inspiration, I kept looking at Claire from Outlander, and I just really liked her hair because it was a little bit more curly rather than just smooth. So when I got my hair cut, I actually asked the hairstylist to also style my hair, because I thought, you know, I know the way I would want to style it, but I just wanted to see how she would do it as well. And she did use a curling iron to curl my hair after cutting it, so I just feel like my hair doesn't like keeping a curl from the curling iron, but it was really, really smooth the way she styled it. And I have to admit, I didn't like it very much, but it was interesting to see. So I'll show you a picture of what it looked like when she styled it, but I just felt like I wanted more kind of like, I said, the Claire look. So I just felt like I wanted it to look, I don't know, just a little bit more unruly rather than sleek, because I guess that's just kind of the hairstyles I've always been drawn to. And maybe it's also just because my hair is just very unruly, so it's better to aim for something that's achievable. I always like to compare my hair to a primary school paintbrush that you've been using for years and years and years, and the kids are very angry and they kind of go pushing it down onto the canvas, And that's what my hair is like in texture, basically. Which is funny because I know that's the case, but with my hair being hip long, it kind of just smoothed out because of the length. So when I cut my hair short, on the first day actually I was like, oh, this is pretty, this is cute. But then I washed my hair for the first time and it had the same structure as it did when I was 12. And I was just like having such a mental breakdown over it, standing in front of the mirror and like ugly crying and just being like, I am ugly. And Jack just standing behind me being like, no, you're just stupid. But so I feel like now I really hate my hair when it's not curled, just because it's not curly, but it's definitely not straight either. It's just somewhere in between, looking like that paintbrush. So I hate that. But you know, it just means I need to put in that extra effort to keep it curly. But I think it pays out because the curls do last all day the way I do it. Unless it's like a very, very Scottish wet day, then my curls just do disappear. But I've also found that putting my hair into hairnets does the job for me. So I do look a little bit silly because I haven't found the right size of hairnet yet to actually just like keep my hair the way it is, but give it a little bit of a push. So when I put my hair in a hairnet, it just looks like a sausage. But that means I can put my hair into a hairnet on the way to work or walking Archie or just doing stuff on the way to somewhere. When I get there, I take it out. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I am happy with how this looks. So now I'm going to use this pomade from Miele. So yeah, Miele. Because again, I tried different products. I tried some curly hair products. I had a weatherproofing lotion I used for a bit that I quite liked, but still I kind of felt like I put it in, made my hair look nice, but it almost immediately just disappeared. So someone on the video that I posted on Instagram said I should use pomade. And I was a little bit hesitant about that because I felt like I don't like washing my hair too often just because I don't have the time in my day-to-day life to wash my hair. I thought it would be much quicker to air dry it, but actually it still takes around 6 hours. So it's just not something I can do after normal work days. But that means I have to somehow keep my hair clean for the entire week. And that is a struggle. So if I put oil into my hair in such amounts, I thought that wouldn't really work, but turns out it does. So that's really been a lifesaver for me because this really smooths out my hair in the kind of way that makes it feel nice and healthy, but also not too weighed down. So I just took like a little bit of it, warm it up in my fingers, and now I'm just spreading it evenly throughout the hair. I almost feel like my curls last longer with the pomade, so maybe because it's oily, it's almost like a shield from the wet. Or maybe I'm just telling myself that. Or maybe it's because we've had a little bit of a dry spell in Glasgow, which doesn't happen that often. So every time we actually get like a week of sunshine, I suddenly go, oh, my curls can last up to 3 days. This is insane. Whereas the normal weather, I have to basically recurl them every night. So even like second day curls don't look amazing on me. So usually I just recurl the top layer and then it looks a little bit disconnected because I've got like really nice jumpy curls on top and then very sad looking curls underneath. But throughout the day, it just wears out and it kind of looks fine. So this has given my hair a little bit of a shine. And I'm so happy with this product. So that's great. Thank you to the person who suggested using pomade. So now I'm just going to put this hair that kind of tries to hang into my face away. And because I've got the parting on this side, I'm going to split this side into 2 sections for pin curls and this one into 1. So I just separate a little bit of hair that frames the face like this. Go through with my fingers to make sure everything's nice and smooth. And then I take 2 fingers like this and I wrap my hair around it. And then I've got this little curl forming. So now I'm just very carefully trying to roll it into the position where I want to have it. Bobby pins. And I'm putting the first one in to kind of disappear downwards. So this is like a proper secure bobby pin, but you can still see that it kind of stands up a little bit here. Rather than pinning it kind of like this, straight through to keep all the hair down, I just pin it through a little bit of hair. Just kind of in like this to hope that it secures the hair. I don't know what I'm saying. I basically just put a lot of bobby pins in, but in such a way that you can't really see them. 2 fingers, wrap around, kind of tuck the ends into the pin curl, and then roll into place. And that's the first side done, so now I'll just do the same here, but for the entire bit of hair that comes from this side. I always feel like the other side turns out slightly better. Maybe it's because this is a little bit too much hair for 1 pin curl. Or maybe it's just because this is my less favorite side of my face. And because we've just backcombed, all the hair pinning in these bobby pins is actually quite easy, and it doesn't kind of like move around because we've got this nest almost underneath our hair to pin into. So now we will finally open the bangs. So the bangs was something when I got my hair cut that I was a little bit torn about, because I felt like on pictures and also seeing other vintage dressers, bangs aren't very 1940s, at least not the ones I have, because I have these kind of short Victorian bangs almost. And I've got a very, very round face, so you'd almost think that these bangs aren't like the best choice for my face. But for some reason, I absolutely love them. It's really funny because my mum, every time I've got my bangs not curled, she's like, oh, this looks so much nicer. And like if I have them a little bit more to the side, just like curtain bangs, she's just big fan. I feel so passionately about these little bangs. I've just stuck with them, and I think, I don't know, it's just part of my style now. So even though I've got more 1940s hair, I still felt like this is just me, and I don't have to do everything properly historically accurate. I can just do things my way, and I guess, yeah, that's something I've learned with sewing as well. It's just I've been trying really hard when I first started sewing to do things historically accurate. But then I realized, yes, you might convince the people on the internet that you're doing it right, but there's no such thing as doing it right. So I don't know, I just do whatever feels right for me. Okay, so we've got these little 3 sausages here now, and I'm just gonna brush them out with my fingers, because really I want this all to feel connected. I feel like the bangs, when I first got them, ugh, there's so much bang cringe going on in my life. Like looking at my old pictures, I'm just like, Jesus, what did I do? Because I tried a lot of different curling patterns until I got to one that I was kind of happy with. And now looking back, I just hate all of the old things I've done. I don't know, it's just, especially like if you look back to some of my older videos here as well, it just looks so silly. You can really tell that I was trying to figure it out and it just didn't look right. Whereas now I feel like, even though, you know, people might not like it, but at least I am confident. I've just kind of like spread out the bangs to evenly make a roll while still having a little bit of texture to them, so it's not just like Betty bangs, I guess, that are very smooth. So now I'm going to come in with this hairspray, and I'm going to spray my bangs that much that even a hurricane wouldn't move them. Now we're going back in with this hairspray and spraying the rest of the hair a little bit more. And because I've got such very thick hair, and the way I curl it, because I put all of the little curlers underneath, so all of the length that would be a little bit longer than the top layer kind of like shrunk up so that it's quite straight here. But that also means I just always end up looking like that one Animal Crossing starter character. I don't know. Like I said, it's just, it's fun, it's cute, but also I miss my long hair. So when it's just freshly curled and done, it's so short that it doesn't even touch my shoulders. And I kind of like that. It's just so nice to not have all the hair here, because I feel like one of my pet peeves was you've got a bag over your shoulder and you've got your hair kind of stuck underneath it. Depending on how long it is, you can just pull it out. With hip long hair, it just didn't work, and it kept getting into things, and I felt like I started losing the will to live when my hair started getting into my skirt waistbands, and I had to lift up my hair to close my skirts, and I feel like that when I was just like, no, it's getting too long. This is what the hair looks like. I am going to get dressed, and then I will show you the final result, which is, I guess, just this, but dressed. So let's go. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I don't know, you learned something? Maybe it entertained you at least. That's all I can really aim for. But if you enjoyed this and you want to see some more vintage inspired content about, I don't know, hair, mainly sewing, that is what I usually do on this channel, you know, just give me a little follow, come along on the journey. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see more beauty content. I don't know. Let's try some more hairstyles together maybe, because when I cut my hair, a lot of people were like, oh, this is so exciting, you can try so many different 1940s hairstyles now. But realistically, all I do is this. So maybe we could try some new things that I haven't done before. Just, you know, let me know what you think. Love hearing from you guys. Read all of your comments. I know I'm always terrible for actually replying, but I read every single thing you say and appreciate all your input so much. So yeah, just let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. somewhat having a brush out, but still. Tilly, no, Tilly!